What's up YouTube, my name is Surjit Singh. Welcome to my first video. Today I will be talking about sharing my journey of getting accepted into medical school and how I was able to get into med school despite having taken MCAT 4 times, one of them being the first attempt when I awarded MCAT. I'll be talking about my 2 gap years and how I was accepted the very last second. I was accepted into medical school literally a few months before school started and had a very late interview. So I'll be sharing all the details in my incredible journey with you guys today. And just a little bit more background about myself. I just finished up my first year of medical school at Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. So without further ado, let's get into the details. Alright, so the first time I decided to conquer the MCAT was the summer before going to my senior year. That summer I studied for the MCAT a few months, and this is the summer of 2019, and I was taking the MCAT in August. I had it signed up for it, and as I was taking the practice exams for AMC, I remember I kept scoring around 498s, and that was now my goal. My goal at the time was 512, so I knew I was not ready to take the MCAT, but as I got closer to the day, I realized it was too late to cancel. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go and sit for the MCAT just for the experience. And I went in knowing that I was gonna avoid the MCAT. And as I sat through the whole exam, I remember getting to Psych and Soc, and halfway through the Psych and Soc, I was like, you know what, there's no point. This is not it. And I basically sped through the rest of the section, finished the exam. I was the first one out of there, awarded it, and left. So that was my first MCAT attempt. That was summer 2019. Which was a void, and if you void the MCAT, it does not count. Schools don't know, schools don't see that you voided. Now after I avoided the first MCAT attempt, I went into my fall semester senior year. Now my goal was keep up MCAT studying while during taking classes, but honestly it was too overwhelming. I was not able to balance both, so I just focused on those classes and decided to postpone the MCAT. Now 2020 came along. I had plans to take the MCAT, but then COVID pushed my MCAT back. My day was canceled, and the MCAT was rescheduled for 6/28/2020, and this actually worked out in my favor because this allowed me to prepare my application, get my essays ready, primary application ready, and study for the MCAT. Now, I took my first official score MCAT on 6/28/2020. My score overall that time was a 498. I got 123 Chem Phys, 122 Cars, 126 Biochem, 127 Psych Soc. So that was my first official scored MCAT. And now despite getting a 490, I still decided to go ahead because my application was already ready. I submitted my application and applied to all osteopathic medical schools with a 498. And to my surprise, in that September of 2020, I'm going to look down at my details to make sure. September 2020, I got my first interview with a 498. This is months after I had submitted my application. This interview was at Turocom in Harlem. Now, I was super excited that, that means that it allowed me to see that application was good enough to get interviews even with the low MCAT because I did have a good GPA and good experiences. But after that interview, I did not get accepted or rejected. I was waitlisted. And after getting the first interview so early in cycle, I did not get any other interviews for the 2020-21 cycle. And I waited and waited. I did not want to take the MCAT again. So I was like, you know what, I'm just praying that I get off the wait list. And as time went on, I realized I was not getting off the wait list because the wait list movement has started for Harlem Turocom. And I knew that next step will be just to retake the MCAT, as that was the only weakness on my application. Now, this third MCAT attempt, which came along, in which I decided to take in August 17, 2021. At this time, I retook the MCAT and I got my score back in September, which again I got 498 one more time. This time my score breakdown was 498 with a 124 in Chem Phys, 121 in Cars, 127 Biochem, and 126 in Psych and Soc. Now, this was 2 498s in a row, but I decided, you know what, that I'm going to apply to few DO schools anyways, shoot my shot. This is where the delusion of confidence came in. I was like, you know what, last year I got an interview, hopefully I'll get an interview again. At this time, everyone was like, well, you didn't get in last year to 498, how are you going to get in 498 this year? But I was like, you know what, I'm still going to shoot my shot. So I applied to 4 schools and submitted. Now, as time went on, by December, I remember I had not heard any responses from any schools, Around this time, I was feeling pretty stressed. Everyone kept asking me, have I heard back? Everyone kept asking me, what am I doing next? People started giving me advice. I had a lot of family members telling me to go to Caribbean medical school. I had family members telling me and friends telling me, oh, I should look into other careers. This is my second time applying medical school. I've heard back. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, I had a bunch of pressure. I was very uncertain about my future. And around this time, I really decided to just, I pray a lot. I decided ask God to guide me towards where my next direction should be. And that's when I just felt re-motivated to take the MCAT again. I was like, you know what? I'm not done with this test. I still feel like I can do way better, and my journey does not end here. So I decided I was going to retake the MCAT, but this time I knew I had to do something different. I have gotten 490 twice. I had to do something different, take a different approach. So in January of 2022, I signed up for the Next Step MCAT prep course, which gave me it was like a 4-month course that was just detailed. Every day was laid out of what to study and when to take practice exams, and everything was laid out there. Now, this time my MCAT attempt came on 4/29/2022, April 29th, 2022. I took my MCAT again, and after I took the MCAT, this time I did feel much better. I knew I improved. My practice exams scores had improved too. So I emailed, at the time I decided to email the 4 schools I applied to for feedback on my application, because I emailed them, hey, that I will be getting ready to reapply for the third cycle, for the third time in a row. Could I get some feedback on my application? Now, around this time, I was able to find the email for the director of admissions at KaiCom, Michael Kennedy, and it's on the the main site for the KaiCom school page, and I emailed Michael Kennedy for feedback. Now, he was able to get back to me and saying that I let him know that I retook my MCAT. I'm waiting for the score to come back in a month. What else can I improve? And he let me know that he'll be able to provide better feedback once the score comes in. So, this was in May 31st, 2022. I got my MCAT score. As soon as I got my MCAT score back, I emailed my Kennedy my updated score with a 502, which is a final improvement from 498 to 502. And just a few days later, on June 3rd, Michael asked me to give him a call, and I was able to talk to Director of Admissions on the phone, who let me know that there are still openings left for that cycle. Few seats are available. If I'm available to interview in a few days, he can set that up for me. I was like, of course, I'd love to, take the opportunity. So that was June 3rd when I talked to the Director of Admissions for a potential interview. On June 6th, that following Monday, I interviewed for the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, and the interview went amazing. I was actually offered acceptance. They told me that I was accepted on the spot during the interview, and the reason they told me on the spot was because this is around June 6th. We will be starting school, soon, and I would be expected to make the move to Kentucky from Michigan. So they wanted to let me know ahead of time, and literally that was the craziest moment, because all of a sudden, just like that, I got my MCAT score back. Told the Director of Admissions my updated score, and 3 days later, a few days later, interview, and I'm accepted. Just like that, my life changed. And it was just a crazy, unreal moment. I remember after the interview, I just sat there not knowing. I just sat there just couldn't believe what just happened. And the reason I wanted to make this video is to share my journey. That it took me 4 MCAT attempts. The first one I waited just 3 official MCAT score attempts to finally have a breakthrough, 2 cycles. And I was able to get in because I never gave up. And that's what the message I want to share with you guys is that we all are going to go through different trials and tribulations. If you are also struggling with MCAT or struggling with certain aspects of your application, I would say do not give up. If it's your goal and dream to become a doctor, you can do it. If I can get accepted, you can do it too. There's so many ways to improve your application. If you have a low GPA, you can do masters to improve your GPA. Low MCAT, you can retake the MCAT. But as long as you never give up and you keep trying, keep looking at what your weaknesses are and trying to improve those weaknesses, you will get in at the end. That's the message I want to share with you guys. Another thing I wanted to say, for me, this whole thing, the reason I was able to get this whole interview set up in this very last second, it all started with sending an email out. All started with sending one email out to the director of admissions, just asking for feedback and asking for feedback, showing interest. That turned into a potential interview and acceptance. So late in the cycle, and that's something I want to share. Like never be afraid to reach out to people. Never be afraid to reach out to schools you're applying to, asking them how can you improve, how can you be better. As you never know. You never know how it can just flip the switch and it can help you out, and how that potential email can change your life just like it changed my life. There's a lot of people who are willing to help, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. Last thing I want to just share, if you're facing any trials or tribulations towards getting into med school, you're facing that resistance, I want you to know that this is all part of your journey. This is what is going to make your journey even better. Everything you're going through is going to make it even more special when you get accepted into medical school. When you get your white coat, when you become a doctor, you're going to look back at those days and just remember that, remember the trials and tribulations you had to go through to get here, and it's going to make everything even more special. Everything you're going through, you're meant to go through it because it's going to give you a unique perspective. For me, having gone through 2 gap years and the struggle to get into medical school, I'm so much more appreciative of this opportunity. I'm so much more grateful. This first year of medical school was amazing for me. I had such a great time, and I was genuinely happy to be there. And that's the unique perspective I had because of all the effort it took me to get here. And I wanted to share that if you're going through similar path, that this is all meant to be, and at the end this is only gonna help you out in the end. So I know I went on a long rant in this video, but I just want to make this quick video to share my journey. Hopefully that inspires you guys. If you did, please smash the like button and share with any of your friends. This is my first YouTube video on this channel, so it'll get better as on, and let me know if you want me to make any more videos on any other topics. Thank you.